Welcome to this episode of the story. Have you subscribed yet? Chapter 116, Deepening Fusion and Approaching Crisis. Sumu did not lower his guard because of the success of the initial fusion. Instead, he became more determined to deepen the integration of the two spiritual powers. He knew well that the approaching enemies would not give him much time. Only by improving his strength as soon as possible could he protect Linxi Town and himself in this crisis. In the following days, Sumo would come to the spiritual spring every day to repeat the process of fusing spiritual powers. Each attempt made him more cautious, and his control over spiritual power became increasingly precise. As the fusion deepened, he found that the total amount of spiritual power he could mobilize had increased significantly. Moreover, the fused spiritual power possessed both the time-warping characteristic of reverse time spiritual power and the gentle nurturing power of the spring spiritual power, making its power several times stronger than that of a single spiritual power. However, Sumu's action of fusing spiritual powers did not go unnoticed. In the darkness outside Linxi Town, pairs of eyes were silently watching everything. The scouts from the mysterious force, having detected the abnormal fluctuations of spiritual power in Linxi Town, quickly sent this information back to their mastermind. The leader of the mysterious force, a man in a black robe with his face hidden in the shadows, curled his lips into a cold smile upon hearing the news. It seems this kid really has some skills, being able to sense the connection between the spiritual spring and reverse time spiritual power and attempt fusion. However, the stronger he becomes, the more we can't let the reverse time spiritual power fall into his hands. He immediately ordered to dispatch a stronger team, ready to launch a surprise attack on Linxi Town and seize the reverse time spiritual power before Sumu's spiritual power fusion was fully completed. Meanwhile, in Linxi Town, after a fusion cultivation session, Sumu suddenly felt a strong sense of crisis. His heart tightened, realizing that danger was rapidly approaching. He immediately returned to the town and informed the elders of his premonition. Upon hearing this, the elders' faces turned Ningzhong. The great elder spoke first, his voice filled with a trace of worry. Sumu, your premonition is not groundless. Presumably, that mysterious force has detected our movements, and they will probably attack soon. Sumo nodded, his eyes firm. Elders, no matter how many people they send, I won't let them take the reverse time spiritual power, let alone let Linxi Town be harmed. The second elder pondered for a moment and said, although we have made some defensive preparations, since they dare to send their entire force, their strength must not be underestimated. We must make thorough plans. After discussion, everyone decided to further strengthen Linxi Town's defense. The spiritual power defense formation in the town was checked and reinforced again, with a significant increase in the number of spirit crystals, maximizing the formation's power. Young cultivators were organized for final combat drills to familiarize themselves with various defense strategies and coordination skills. As for Sumo, he seized the last moments to continue attempting spiritual power fusion. He knew that every bit more strength he gained meant a higher chance of victory for Linxi Town. This time, he entered an unprecedented state of concentration. Reverse time spiritual power flowed in his body like a blue torrent, while the spring's spiritual power turned into golden threads, which he precisely guided into the torrent. The two spiritual powers began a deeper fusion, intertwining and permeating each other, gradually forming a brand new spiritual power structure. At the critical moment of fusion, Sumu suddenly felt that time around him seemed to slow down. This was not the effect of him actively using reverse time spiritual power, but a more wonderful phenomenon. It was as if the entire world was making way for his spiritual power fusion, creating a relatively stable time environment for him. In this slow time flow, Sumo could perceive the fusion process of the two spiritual powers more clearly, knowing every tiny change like the back of his hand. With the completion of the fusion, a powerful fluctuation of spiritual power erupted from Sumu's body. This fluctuation spread around him as the center, even making the ground of Linxi Town tremble slightly. Sumu slowly opened his eyes, with confident light shining in them. He felt that his strength had made a qualitative leap. Now, he he had the confidence to fight against the mysterious force. However, at this moment, a noisy sound came from outside Lingxi town. Sumu's heart tightened, knowing that the enemies had arrived. He quickly joined the elders and led the people of Lingxi town to the top of the town wall. Outside the town, dense black shadows surged like a tide. These people were all dressed in black tight clothes, with cold eyes and an aura of sternness and killing. At the front was a tall man holding a black, long knife, with strange runes glowing on the blade. Sumu, hand over the reverse time spiritual power and will spare everyone in Lingxi town. The man shouted loudly, his voice echoing in the air, full of threats. Sumo took a step forward, responding fearlessly. You greedy scoundrels, so想take the reverse time spiritual power. Though Lingxi town is small, we will never let ourselves be bullied. Both sides were daggers drawn, and a great battle was imminent. The people of Lingxi town stood ready, each with determination in their eyes. They knew that this battle was about the survival of Lingxi town, about their dignity and future. And Sumo, as the hope of Lingxi town, stood at the forefront. His figure, under the afterglow of the setting sun, looked particularly tall, like an insurmountable mountain guarding the homeland behind him. The story continues. More exciting content is coming up. Subscribe as soon as possible.